that Muhammad, like his other brothers among the prophets, like Musa and Jesus, is a man who stood for justice, a man who fought for justice, and a man who fought against injustice. My dear brothers and sisters, there is a reason why we're here. There's a reason why we have a Jum'ah khutbah here. We want to send a clear message to the embassy of the rogue state that is known as Saudi Arabia, a regime that hijacked a land, a country, people, a piece of land that we know as Al-Shibh al-Jazira al-Arabiya, the Arab Peninsula. They hijacked that land and they named it after a clan and after a tribe, the Saudis. We want to send a clear message to this rogue state that you thought that you will instill fear in our hearts, that you thought that we will fear to come and stand before your embassy, to stand to your oppression, to speak truth to power. But here we are. You have failed. What you were successful at is to instill disdain in our hearts, resistance to your brutality. We're not gonna give up. We're not gonna shy away. We're not going to surrender. We're not going to allow you to speak on behalf of our religion, of Islam, which is justice. We're not going to allow you to hijack our religion. You do not represent Islam. You do not speak for Islam. You have hijacked the two holiest shrines in Islam. We cannot enter into Mecca, into Al-Madinah, our two holiest cities, because of you. Allah said in the Quran that every Muslim has the right to enter into Mecca and Al-Madinah with security, not to fear anyone. And the fact that you're taking care of, or that you're controlling Mecca and Al-Madinah, does not give you the right to deny us to go there to worship freely. So we're here to say this as Muslims: stop speaking in the name of our religion, because you do not speak for our religion. You do not speak for our religion. Yes, you might have theocrats who are justifying everything that you do in the name of Islam, but they're no less hypocrites than you. You have arrested the true scholars, human rights activists, women activists, and guess what? Mohammed bin Salman suddenly is a reformist. The boy who's ascending to the crown is a reformist. We have a president here who calls him a reformist. A president who has no less disdain to free media than Mohammed bin Salman. So he is not a reformist. A man who gave women the right to drive on one hand and arrested all of those women who advocated for the right of women to drive. That's not Islam. Because the Almighty tells us clearly that the main objective of sending all of his apostles, so the main objective of sending the books and the balances with them, is for mankind to stand for justice and to implement justice. That's not the Islam that we see coming from Saudi Arabia. That's not the Islam that this country is projecting. God told us in the Quran that every Muslim can enter the land of Mecca and Al-Madinah safe. But we know that this country has hijacked or has kidnapped people who were there to perform Hajj and Umrah, and they have disappeared. Now, we're not only Muslims, we're also Americans. And we want to send a strong message as Americans, a blunt message. Enough. Enough is enough. Stop trying to outsmart everyone else. One time Khashoggi somehow entered into the consulate and he did not leave, and no one knows because they didn't have the cameras weren't working. Now they're investigating. Tomorrow they might accuse rogue elements within the regime. Anything just to exonerate Mohammed bin Salman. But everyone knows that the crime of Khashoggi and the killing of Khashoggi is only one crime in a chain of crimes. Crimes that started more than 100 years ago. Crimes that are continuous, crimes that we see with our own eyes. The killing of the Yemeni people, destroying Yemen. Now suddenly Yemen is suffering from famine. Suddenly Yemen is suffering from the spread of diseases that we thought for long that have gone, like cholera. More than 10,000 people were killed in Yemen. More than 5-6 million people are displaced within Yemen. Of course, they're learning from their masters. They're learning from Israel. They're learning from Netanyahu, who emboldened a person like Mohammed bin Salman. Yes, back in July, we did have our prayer in front of the Israeli embassy, or it was July 2017, when the Israeli authorities shut down the Aqsa Mosque. We did protest it. We did protest against that decision. Today we are protesting against the brutality of a regime that claims to speak on behalf of Islam, or the Sunni Islam. As we protest and will continue to protest against the brutality of the regime of Iran that is killing people in the Arab world in the name of Shia Islam. None of them speaks for Islam, as the president of this country does not speak for America. Some might say, okay, well, he's yet another Muslim and he's bashing the American president. Well, let me tell you, Congress doesn't like what the president is doing. The American people don't like what this president is doing. No one likes it. No one likes it. But this man is willing to put a price tag on a human life. For him, he didn't even know whether Jamal Khashoggi was a US citizen or not. He had to ask. He had to ask. And then he had to complain about the $110 billion that they're risking, or he's risking, in case he accuses Mohammed bin Salman. Well, Donald Trump owns Mohammed bin Salman. You know why? Because it is him who said that we have put our guy on the top. That's him who said this. So he's responsible for his crime. Congress now is trying to impose sanctions on Saudi Arabia. Well, if you do it, if the Congress do it, we tell you as Muslims that you are not imposing any sanctions on Islam and Muslims. We're telling you that you are not fighting Islam, that you're not being engaged in Islamophobia if you impose any sanctions on this rogue state. You are doing the right thing, just do it. Do it. In fact, Islamophobia is being financed in this country by the Saudis and the Emiratis. Ask the Foundation for Defense of Democracy. Ask them where they get their money from. Ask the Zionist organizations here that are working against the American interests, who is funding them. Ask the Zionist Organization of America. Ask them who's funding you. Everyone knows it. So it is not about Islam versus non-Muslims. It is about justice versus injustice. That's why we're here. And if they want to be elusive and claim that Khashoggi was killed by some rogue elements or somehow disappeared from the face of the earth, well, how can you hide your crimes in Yemen? How can you hide your crimes in Saudi Arabia? How can you hide your crimes against the Arab people? Bankrolling all of the counter-democratic revolutions in the Arab world. Who destroyed Egypt? Who destroyed Libya? Everyone knows it. But we're fearful to say it, or some are fearful, because you have to go to Hajj. You have to go to Mecca, to Al-Madinah. Well, Mecca and Al-Madinah, we are going to enter it one day with the full security that we should enjoy, whether you like it, Mohammed bin Salman, or not. This is a boy that ascended to the crown prince that eventually going to ascend, God forbid, to be the king, but he's a boy who plays PlayStation, and he thinks that the country with a vast wealth that was entrusted with him is just yet another PlayStation that he's playing with. But he's spreading what? Destruction with that toy. So we're demanding here is that we stop any armed sale to this country. We're demanding Congress to take a stand as they took a stand against Russia, despite what Donald Trump wanted. Donald Trump did not want to impose sanctions on Russia. Congress went ahead and did it. They can do the same. They can stop this boy from continuing his destruction and the spread of mischief. We can. And they will still pay you the $110 billion, Donald Trump. Because Mohammed bin Salman cannot be there, cannot survive without your support, Donald Trump. But definitely, Donald Trump has some passion also for dictators. Because he wants to be a dictator. He accused Democrats of being treasonous because they did not clap enough for him during his speech of the State of the Union address. Or during his speech of the State of the Union address. They were treasonous. That's what he said. They did not clap. He thinks that he's another Kim Jong-un. He loves him. He says, I love the dictator of North Korea. But he doesn't love Erdogan, the president of Turkey, because he's not democratic. The man who was elected by his people with the majority vote, not by delegates, is not democratic. But suddenly, Putin is democratic and accepted. Kim Jong is accepted and democratic. And Mohammed bin Salman is accepted and democratic. What they're doing in Saudi Arabia is that they're running a mockery of reform and what reform means. So, my dear brothers and sisters, what we're doing today is that we are fulfilling our obligation before the Almighty by standing for justice, by fighting oppression, by demanding answers about the whereabouts of Jamal Khashoggi, and demanding the freedom of the two holiest shrines in Islam, Mecca and Al-Medina, in Mecca and Al-Medina. And also we're demanding that our administration here, take a stand. For one time maybe, Donald Trump should maybe take a stand, because this boy is his. This boy, Mohammed bin Salman, is his. He owns him. Restrain him. He's a mad dog, restrain him. If you don't know how to restrain him, we'll let Congress deal with it. Restrain him. He's a mad dog, and we want him to be restrained. So I would conclude by saying, my dear brothers and sisters, don't let what happened to Jamal Khashoggi deter you. You know, this country that we blessed for carrying its citizenship, regardless of what Donald Trump conflation of being a foreigner if you are a foreign born, well, whether he likes it or not, we're American citizens. This country had fought for the freedoms that we're enjoying now. This country fought for us to be able to criticize Donald Trump here while the police are around us and no one can arrest us for it. You can criticize America itself and no one will touch you. The Arab people deserve the same rights. They deserve the same dignity. I don't want to call them the Saudis, but the people who live in the land of the Arab Peninsula deserve the same rights. This is Allah's gift, God's gift to everyone. We were born free. Allah tells us we were born dignified with dignity. We were not born to be a property of Donald Trump, a property of Mohammed bin Salman, a property of any Arab whether in Yemen, whether for the Muslim Rohingya, whether for any people who are oppressed regardless of their religion, regardless of their ethnicity, regardless of their color. Every human being deserves to live in dignity. Every human being deserves to live free. This rogue state does not speak for our Islam. And this administration and this president who made a mockery of our values does not speak for America. And yes, I'm a foreign-born American citizen, and my name is Osama, and I enjoy every right in this country. My name is Osama, O-S-A-M-A. That Saudi Arabia made a mockery and made my name toxic. It is the ideology of Saudi Arabia that made my name toxic. But I am proud of my name because it means lion. So if you want to hold anyone accountable for Al-Qaeda's crime, for ISIS crimes, you're looking at the harbor of terrorism. This is where terrorism is. Inside this embassy. The other place, go look at the Israeli embassy. That's why they're collaborating. That's why you have a fiction now between Netanyahu and between Mohammed bin Salman. And Mohammed bin Zayed, definitely. The Emir of UAE, the United Arab Emirates. So let's continue this fight for justice. As we fight for justice here in America, as we fight for justice in Palestine, we will continue to fight for justice in the Arab Peninsula that is being hijacked and named after this tribe of Al Saud, who God only knows where they came from. اللهم يا رب نسألك أن تنزل كل بركاتك والحرية على شعوب.
آمين يا رب.
ونسألك يا أرحم الراحمين أن تنصرنا على كل ظالم.
آمين يا رب.
وأن ترحم كل مظلوم.
آمين يا رب.
وأن تنتقم من هذه الأنظمة المجرمة يا أرحم الراحمين. We ask Allah, we ask the Almighty to empower the oppressed wherever they are.
آمين.
And to defeat all of the oppressors. All of the oppressors. And we ask Him that we are of the soldiers of justice and not to ever be an